Hi, I'm Dr. Mac Adkins, Chief Academic Officer with SmarterServices. Thanks for checking out this blog titled Hybrid Virtual Proctoring versus Zoom Proctoring. Two popular maxims are necessity is the mother of invention and every cloud has a silver lining. The COVID pandemic is certainly a dark cloud, but it does have a silver lining, which has resulted in the invention of a new proctoring modality. Before the pandemic, there were several modalities or ways that learners could take proctored exams. Some of these were local face-to-face modalities, such as collegiate or professional testing centers, instructor as proctor, and proctoring professionals, such as HR directors at corporations or pastors of churches. Other proctoring modalities were done online and included automated virtual proctoring, record and review virtual proctoring, and finally, live virtual proctoring. Shortly before the pandemic started, we had done a survey of test takers regarding matters related to proctoring. On the survey, we asked students to rate the level of psychological deterrent to cheating of all of these proctoring modalities I just listed. The modality that most students reported as a very strong deterrent was an approved human proctor. When a student is being proctored in person by someone they know, such as an HR director or a church pastor, that is a strong deterrent. A close second was when the instructor proctored the exams for the students who were local. And third was the professional and collegiate testing centers. The modality that the fewest students reported as a strong psychological deterrent was automated virtual proctoring. Well, along came the pandemic, and all of those local face-to-face modalities were no longer available. So all proctoring had to shift to the virtual modalities. Because of the lowest price point, the proctoring modality that has been used the most during the pandemic is automated virtual proctoring. Now, as schools are beginning to evaluate their practices during the pandemic with a view toward the future, they are looking for a modality that has the high deterrent of the local face-to-face modalities, but at the same price point of automated virtual proctoring. To meet this need, we have created a new proctoring modality that truly is the best of both worlds. It is called Hybrid Virtual Proctoring. As the name implies, it is a combination of the face-to-face modalities powered by the technology of automated proctoring. Using this new modality, the artificial intelligence of our automated virtual proctoring is controlling and monitoring the test taker and their environment. Anomalies such as the second face appearing, voices being heard, the test taker's face disappearing, attempts to open other browser windows, attempts to cut and paste, and etc., are still tracked and recorded. But the new feature is that while this artificial intelligence is running in the background, a live person from the institution can be watching and reviewing the AI-detected anomalies in real time. This person could be a trained proctor from the testing center and or the instructor themselves. So, imagine you're a student and in the course syllabus you learn that you have a proctored exam. The exam instructions inform you that your testing session will be monitored by automated proctoring technology and that your instructor or a testing staff member also may be watching in real time. Well, that would be a very strong deterrent. Plus, all of this is available at the same low price point of automated proctoring. This new proctoring modality was created at the request of several of our clients after they had experimented with their own version of this solution. These schools had utilized some form of video conferencing such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Hangouts, WebEx, GoToMeeting, etc. Their faculty members and or testing center staff could just meet the students in a video conference and watch them take their test. On the surface, this sounded like a great idea, but in reality, it was fraught with frustrations and problems. Here is a top 10 list of the limitations and frustrations that these schools reported as they tried to use video conferencing software as a proctoring solution. First, there was no artificial intelligence running in the background. Using a tool like Zoom, the person watching the session had to detect all anomalies on their own. But using hybrid virtual proctoring, our AI is watching for multiple suspicious activities and clearly labeling them on the session timeline. Second, video conferencing worked best with one student at a time. Because there was no AI monitoring for anomalies, it was challenging for the proctor to watch multiple students simultaneously. But monitoring one student at a time was very time-consuming. For a 1-hour exam, faculty did not want to invest 1 hour per student for proctoring. But with hybrid virtual proctoring, the proctor can efficiently monitor multiple test takers simultaneously with the ability to focus in on any one test taker for which an anomaly is reported. Faculty also realized that using Zoom, if they needed to speak to any one student during the proctoring session, that they had to do this through a breakout room, which removed them from the ability to monitor the other students while talking to the one student. Hybrid virtual proctoring provides the ability to communicate with one student while still monitoring others. Third, there was no technical support. During the pandemic, most persons have experienced some level of difficulty as they have attempted to join and participate in online video conferencing. When a test taker would have trouble joining the video conference or had a problem during it, the burden of technical support rested on the person serving as the proctor, often the faculty member. Students also frequently needed assistance with functionality, such as how to share their screen or unmute their microphone. The person doing the proctoring was often not trained in how to provide technical support, plus they were frustrated having to provide technical support to one learner while trying to monitor several others. Imagine that. But using hybrid virtual proctoring, our trained technical support staff are immediately available to any test taker 24/7, 365. Fourth, there was no lockdown browser. When proctoring just using a video conferencing solution, there was no way to prevent the student from opening other browser windows, copying and pasting, searching for answers online, and more. But using hybrid virtual proctoring, our embedded lockdown browser controls for all of this. Fifth, there were concerns over FERPA compliance. Schools quickly realized that if they were recording a video conferencing session in which multiple students were being recorded, and then they had to use that recording as their academic integrity committee reviewed potential violations, that this might not be fully FERPA compliant, as the video would also include images of test takers not suspected of engaging in academic dishonesty. But using hybrid virtual proctoring, the video of each test taker is isolated. So if review after the testing session is warranted, only the video of the test taker in question is displayed. Sixth, many students had internet bandwidth issues with virtual conferencing. The pandemic clearly exposed the fact that many students do not have high-speed internet in their homes. For other students who do have the internet access, the bandwidth available to the test taker could be limited, as others in the household could be streaming media at the time of the testing session. The video engine in hybrid virtual proctoring can operate at a lower bandwidth than most video conferencing software solutions. Seventh, scheduling the video conferencing sessions was a nightmare. When schools used video conferencing solutions for proctoring, they had to come up with some system for scheduling which students would be in which sessions at what times. Their solutions ranged from post-it notes to spreadsheets or web-based forms. But Hybrid Virtual Proctoring utilizes the LMS embedded scheduling tool so that the faculty member can view a roster of the students to see when each student is scheduled to be proctored. For the students, the scheduling workflow is seamless and user-friendly, as they never have to leave their course to schedule when they want to be proctored. They can also easily change or cancel their session if needed. Eighth, since video conferencing software is not designed for proctoring, there were no markings when suspicious activity occurred. But using Hybrid Virtual Proctoring, all testing anomalies are clearly marked and labeled on a timeline, showing exactly the point in the session when the event occurred. This allows the user to quickly jump to these points in the video without having to watch the full video to find the suspicious activity. Ninth, the user experience was confusing. Using Hybrid Virtual Proctoring, there is tried and tested wording prompting the student every step along the way about how to get started with the testing session. Most of us have experienced confusion in knowing what link to click or what number to dial to get into a video conferencing session. It was not good when students experienced this same confusion when trying to start a proctored exam. Plus, with some video conferencing tools, students could actually see and hear the other test takers during the exam. That could be very distracting. And finally, video conferencing does not test for computing device compatibility. Because of this, some students did not learn until the moment the test was scheduled that their computing device could not connect to the video conference. But with Hybrid Virtual Proctoring, students are encouraged to test their computing device well in advance of the session. Basically, these schools recognize that video conferencing is not intended for proctoring, and they ask us to develop a solution that was. As a bring your own proctor model, Hybrid Virtual Proctoring really is the best of both worlds, combining the human resources of local proctoring with the technology of virtual proctoring. It truly does provide the deterrent level of live virtual proctoring at the cost of automated virtual proctoring.